Hey, it's MK, and all of this might look very, very familiar, but I was asked by several people actually to show them how to use all of these on, not all of them, but to show them how to use these on a layout. Now, I've already been asked that the last set that I created, but, and I did. I created a layout using just one. Actually, I think I used two on a layout, but this one was actually really cool because one of the ladies that my crafty online friends, she suggested to do like a grid layout like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is a great idea. However, I don't print my photos this small, so I might have an issue with being able to actually put my photos within these little squares. So yeah, it's a great challenge, and I love how this looks. It is kind of plain with this white background, and then I had this extra little, it was a sample of, I wanted to see what these colors looked like together. And so it's been kind of hanging out on my desk, and I was going to throw it in here because the colors kind of match, but I'm not going to use it. I am going to lay these out just like this. Not that crooked though. Hello. But I do want to use a different background. So what was I doing? I went through all of my papers, and I went through a lot of my... I went through almost every collection that I had. I thought that I had more of this Zoe paper, but instead all I could find... Oh, well, now it's disappeared too. Yes, go me. All I could find were more scraps. So I must have used up my my Zoe paper. But what I mean by Zoe paper is this collection that I used out of these scraps was a collection from close to my heart called Zoe, and I'm not really sure if I said that in the other video or if I was just playing with my scraps. I don't remember. So what I did was I went through and I picked out a bunch of photos. Now, the way that I had my photos already set up is I'm going to do this as a set of photos, and then I'm going to do this side as a set of photos, but they are both from us visiting a theme park. So I have this set as well. So the photos aren't going to match, and I'm not going to mix and match them because there's an insert in between them where they're doing something else over here and they're doing something else over here. And so these will be two separate layouts, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to treat them as if they are one. I found this alpha sheet. They're flat alphas by Coco Vanilla. It's the Life is Beautiful collection. I don't know if it has a date on it or not. It does not, that I can see really quickly. But I love the gray blue alpha because it kind of matches the gray that I used for my cardstock. And then also the peachy alphas down here match my peach cardstock that I used over here. So I have an alpha picked out. And then I wasn't too sure, but this has been floating around in my stash for a long time. I mean, like years. It's by Kaiser Craft. I had to chop it down just so it would even fit because it was huge. But they are acetate, see-through, clear. They're not really acetate. They're not acetate. They're see-through doilies. And so what I thought about doing is kind of like picking up one of these and placing it behind and having just that extra element just to use those up, see if it works. This is more of a theme parky, fun, giggly layout, which is kind of sort of how all of these go. Like this picture cracks me up. That's funny, hilarious, wow. And so that's kind of the mood and feel I get from all of these embellishments. And then this here is you know, my son wasn't old enough to go on the bigger rides, and so she's bored because she is old enough and kind of sort of was tall enough, but he was not. So we kind of had to stay in a specific area so my son could enjoy himself as well. And so this kind of here is seriously, you know, I love that, seriously, and then selfie, perfect, this inspires me, blessed life, sweet hello. And so I kind of thought that these all went really well with these photos. So I wanted to find some high energy little bits and pieces, and I pulled out this kit from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I am a member, but I ask to not get a kit every month because it's one of those things where I just don't want it to collect. And so this is kind of sort of all I have left from this kit. I have 2 sheets of this paper. One was from the kit that Christina put together for me, and then the other one I must have ended up with more of this because I also had 2 of these guys here, which, sorry for the crinkling. This is like little bits and pieces from all of the different packs that Cocoa Vanilla had to offer that Christina put together for me, which I thought was pretty cool because I got some chipboard and I got some cardstock pieces, and so it was kind of neat having a little bit of everything instead of everything. So I have some of these left, and I thought it would be kind of cool to add some things behind and just make it look like they're not separate embellishments, but they are part of the entire page. So I have all of these to go through. Christina also included, and I have to pour it this way because they get stuck on that little tape, some of these I love these. If you want to include any more of these stars in any of my kits, Christina, feel free to, because I just love, they are like those 3-dimensional stars. I don't know what they're called. I don't know. Anyways, I just love those. And then also some wood buttons that are quite thick, but they have stars in them as well. Isn't that cute? And I have some twine. Is it twine? Anyways, yes, I think it's twine that has this like neon green in it that I just love as well. Also, I had this sheet right here. More little tiny word stickers. Let's see if I can't make that work. But I had this little sheet. I love it when it says, oh yeah. So I thought about using that, and then more of these little bluey gray stars. These ones are more of the black instead of the bluey gray, but I think they'll work nonetheless. And then let me move these all out of the way. I'm sure we'll go through those later. And then she included these. I think these are 6x8. I can't remember. Yeah, they look about 6x8, but they're the perfect colors. And so I don't like the shine on them, but I'm sure wherever I use them, if I use them as matting my photos, I am pretty sure that, you know, the shine won't even show up. Plus, I like using shiny paper behind my photo because then it makes the photo kind of pop out. So I'm going to use these as my background so the white cardstock isn't so plain. And this is actually got a border all the way around it, but then it's got splatters in between, you know, all along this, whatever this is, along the cardstock pattern. Is it cardstock? I don't know. So it kind of fills in the gaps from where the embellishments won't be touching each other. Okay, so I got my photos, I got my papers. I'm going to try to challenge myself and put all of this stuff together. So not only do I have all of these embellishments that I just created picked out, but I also have a bunch of other stuff that I want to make into a layout. And hopefully it won't get too clustery, busy, and you can't see my photos. So hopefully I will make this work, but I am excited to do this. I want to thank all of the people that requested this, and I definitely want to thank Jennifer Kane for the suggestion of doing this grid layout. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. It will probably have 2 titles because, like I said, they are going into 2 separate spots on my layout, so if it kind of looks funky, I'm not really sure, but I love this photo and the word seriously. I think I have that in a huge word, foamy word. Anyways, I'm going to go find my words from my mouth, and hopefully I'll be able to finish this layout for you guys and it actually makes sense. Okay, let's get started and see what I can do. The first thing I want to do is apologize for how choppy this film is, or the recording, because I wanted to keep my video at a 12 by 24 aspect, and so all my cutting is done off camera. And I just felt like, wow, that's boring, just watching nothing while I go and cut pictures and things like that. So the first thing that I did was try to figure out where I can put these doilies. You guys, these doilies have been floating around my desk for ages, and I just used 2 up. 2 of the tiniest ones. Oh my gosh, I need to use these doilies, you guys. They're awful. So again, off camera, I went and I cut my photos down. The photos on the left, I was able to cut them down some of the ways to get them to fit in the frames, but I knew I was going to have issues with the photos on the right. So I am just basically winging it here, not even attempting, but I take out all of the parts where I'm measuring, cutting, I bring it back, I measure it, I cut it, I took it all out. And this one, I could not cut down any smaller than what it was. My daughter in the dragon being totally bored out of her bonkers. And I decided that I was going to shift my elements around a little bit. And in fact, I do have to say that I used almost every single one of these embellishments that I created. I used every single one of them except for the one with the fancy label on it. I put it up on top and totally spaced, bringing it back into the layout. So yeah, so that one doesn't get used. And did I just put another one off? I don't think so. I end up covering up one of the doilies that I laid down. Go me, woo! So you don't even see it. It's not even visible in the video anymore. And now I am just finding out, do I need a photo mat, or is this white one okay? I did mat the larger photo on the right, and now I'm going to work on the title. So I am going to have 2 titles. The title for my left page, I'm going to mix and match the speech bubble, the die cut word kid, and then some alpha stickers. That way I can create a title and get it to say one cohesive like sentence or saying. So, and I really, you guys, I absolutely love doing this kind of stuff. Basically taking a pre-made embellishment and adding a little bit more to it to personalize the page. This is like my favorite thing to do, you guys. I just love this. Like this one here. This is the chipboard element that I made, and now I'm adding another frame to it just to give it that I match now aspect, and I added a little label, or what is that called? A tab sticker. And now I'm done. And then same with the lower bottom one. I added another round label and a camera, a couple stars, and it matches. It's just, I don't know. I really love doing, this sort of thing, tucking and maneuvering elements to get it to work. Here I did have to rip that speech bubble up so I could see the words. What I was trying to do in the first place was hide the fact that it was a speech bubble, because I hate speech bubbles. Hate them with a passion, you guys. I refuse to use them, and if I can't cut that little dangly bit off, then I just don't use them. That's the first thing I destash every year when I go through my room to clean it up and destash. So, yep, it's gone. They're gone. I don't even pretend to want to use them. They're not going to do it. So my title for this side is, That's My Funny Kids. And so I thought it looked okay. I took the M and the Y from the tile letters and made the word my, so it was kind of tiny like the that and funny part. And then I had to add an S in there because it's not my funny kid, it's my funny kids. So yeah, and I think it worked out really well, especially when I add these dark stars to this side of the layout. So, and I'm just adhering things just a little bit better. I didn't do that good of a job. Like I tacked things down. I didn't really glue it down like solid gluing down. So yeah, that's basically it. I pop a few things up just so that way it isn't so flat. I do have some chipboard elements going on, like all my frames are chipboard. And so I wanted to make sure that a couple more things were a little bit more popped up and dimensional as well. And for this layout, I am pretty much, for this side of the layout, I am pretty much done. I add a few of these tiny word stickers, which I do have to say, I struggle with those, you guys. I bring them in and say, hey, look, I'm going to use these. And then I set them off to the side and poof, I'm done. That's it. So I'm going to work on the right side now. Again, I take my photos and I mat the ones that I think need matted. The dragon one, I first matted too large and then took it away and brought back a smaller mat. I'm also trying to incorporate, there's a lot of green everywhere. On every single layout, there's a piece of green. And so that's kind of like my one-for-one color, you know, the color that's spanning across everywhere. So I decided that I'm going to make the upper right be where my title is going to go because I do have that big blank space. And I love how my photos are kind of clustered in amongst all of the frames that I have going on. So basically just committing a little bit. I do have to take some things off of the pre-made embellishments just to fit my photos in, but they're tacked on. It's not like they were permanently on there in the first place. So I'm okay with that. I do have a little label down in the center, bottom center cluster that says selfie. And I think it says selfie and then a heart. It does not go with this layout one bit. So the one that I stuck my daughter in, it says seriously, and then I can't, it says seriously twice because she's like, Mom, I'm too big, you know, but she was stuck in this side of the park. We could not leave my son. I mean, he was just enjoying this way too much for us to just basically say, no, you can't do that. So anyways, yeah, I am just putting my photos down because I know I am committed. I know that that's where I want to go, and trying to use up these tiny word stickers, and this collection works really well with these embellishments that I did. Now I'm putting this tear and tape on this chipboard because when I sprayed it to get the color, it actually warped, and so it kind of had a bend to it. So I just used that tear and tape and it flattened it right out. I decided that frame was a little bit too green, so why not add a frame with more stars? Yep. And I do love how that looks. Now, I also did not anticipate how large this title is going to be. And so I chopped a whole bunch of this stuff out because I had to go and find a piece of paper like this green piece that I could cut down and get big enough. And now I'm deciding that the label that I'm trying to use kind of gets lost in the green piece. And so, but I had to make the green piece long enough for my lagoon title. If not, the L and the N would have hung over, and they're too weak for them to have hung over by themselves. So they needed support. I just took some, I think it's called a Muji pen in dark blue. Thank you, Janet. I love my pen. And I outlined the label so that way it kind of stuck up and popped out a little bit more, and I love it now. I went ahead and I put Lagoon 2011 on top of my layout. Or no, I didn't. I put it on top of the label, and that is going to be my title. I had to shift the chipboard piece around a little bit just so that way it looked a little bit more centered. You know, not a big deal. It's okay. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Yeah, this is me just putting a bunch of clusters. Now, I do have to say that I love how the frames, or the frames are kind of behind the photos and not that is the photo. You know, I did not have to have perfectly sized photos to fit in all of these frames. I just did not. I love bringing frames into my layouts. I don't have enough. In fact, I have enough, but I don't have a lot to bring in. So when I do a project like this, it's kind of all or nothing type thing. But I absolutely love using up frames, whether it's putting my picture directly in the center of the frame or having it pop off the side. There's my title. I absolutely love that. And all of the sayings just work really well for a theme park layout. I love this. Absolutely love it. It is kind of sort of my son's very first time going, and so he is just ecstatic about every little thing. Now, he didn't like the rides that you had to like push down and be secure in. He did not like those. He didn't mind the seatbelt rides, but the ones that like there's an egg ride that goes up and then drops down, he didn't like being secured in that thing. So I have loads of close-ups because I don't think the video did it any justice. So here is all of the close-ups for you guys to take a look at and get to actually like see everything up close and personal. And I will check you guys out next time. See ya.